know what you're going to get out of them. The Broncos have, came alive once they got Manning back. But, now you have three teams that are legitimate playoff teams in the AFC West starters. So that's a pretty good division. And then you look at the NFC North and you have two teams that have no shot in the Bengals and the Browns. And then you have the Ravens no one thought were going to be where they were now. And the Steelers everyone thought were usually to contend with. But, then you look at the NFC East last year, under 500 overall as a division. This year, one of the best divisions in the league. So you never know.
You never know. Absolutely. Snowman in the Morning, presented by Subway of Hebron. Build your breakfast or lunch the right way and get a $3.50 sub each day of the week. Visit Subway of Hebron at 615 North Front Street in Hebron, Indiana, or visit them online at subway.com. Mark Kelly on the line with me. Let's go to the NFC, and we start in the East. The Cowboys keep rolling. So do the Giants. The Cowboys have won 10 in a row. They're going for 11 at Minnesota.
Tough game.
Got 6 of 7, 79 yards in the fourth quarter. He has now completed 30 of his last 33 passes in the fourth quarter or overtime, dominating the last 11 drives for the Cowboys during those periods. Here's some of the numbers from the last 11 drives for Dak Prescott in the fourth quarter overtime. 30 of 33, 325 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, and that started since overtime of week 8. Staying with Dallas, Ezekiel Elliott. Oh my gosh. What can't this kid do? 2 touchdowns on Thanksgiving Day, tying Emmitt Smith for the second most rushing touchdown by a Cowboy rookie. He's one behind the record held by Tony Dorsett. Dorsett had 12 in 1977. Ezekiel Elliott has 11 this year, and that record's going to be busted wide open. Emmitt Smith had 11 in 1990. Staying with that.
How about this for Elliott? He's been the game's leading rusher, considering players on both teams, and all 10 Cowboy wins. Performance against Washington, he set an all-time NFL rookie record of 10 consecutive games leading both teams in rushing yards. The previous rookie mark of 9 straight games was shared by Jamal Lewis in 2000 and Barry Sanders in 1989. So it just goes to show you how dominant that is, and sets up a scenario this week where the Cowboys could clinch a playoff spot already. Clinch it. Let me wake up a little bit more. I got to have a stronger cup of coffee.
I understand. I totally understand. The Redskins are the 5th team in NFL history with 500-plus yards overs in a loss. One of those games was the Cowboys lost to the Vikings in 1998, the Randy Moss game, where Dallas gained 513 yards and lost 46-36 in a game in which Aikman threw for 455 yards. Kirk Cousins had 449 on Thanksgiving Day, the second most passing yards on Thanksgiving. Speaking of the Giants and Big Blue, they keep on rolling. They've won 6 straight for the first time since 2008. 8-3 is their best 11-game start since 2008. Odell Beckham Jr., 2 receiving touchdowns, 3rd game with multiple receiving touchdowns, tied with Antonio Brown. Eli. 3 touchdowns gives him 12 since week 9.
Yep, 12 in the last 4 games.
12
and 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions on the season. There's no other quarterback. I was talking to my brother-in-law the other day, and my brother-in-law is, he likes Eli, but he thinks I'm smoking something when I say that, I would take Eli over. But with anybody, there's no one that I would choose. I would take other guys as well, but Eli was right in that conversation. And if I wound up with Eli, I certainly wouldn't think that I got any less of a quarterback. In the fourth quarter or the last 2 minutes, if you need a drive to win a game, I'll take Eli with anybody.
I'll take him too. I'll take Eli myself.
This is a guy who, has thrown for at least 18 touchdown passes in every year since he's become a starter. He never, ever misses a game. Always passes for over 3,800 yards. This is going to be, another season. He's got 2,900 yards now. maybe it's a stretch for him to get to 4,000 this year. But you
No,
look
it's
at what
not.
he's been able.
Not with the way
What's
he's
that?
going. Not with the way he's going right now.
Right. I mean, he's he could really pick it up here these last 5 games. But you look at the fact that he is just getting better as the season's gone on.
Mm-hmm.
12 touchdown passes in his last 4 games. There's no picks in his last 2 games. His completion percentage isn't what it should be or what it usually is. He's under 60% the last 2 weeks. But his offensive line is also getting a little bit better. If that offensive line really starts to protect him, look out, because the Giant defense is starting to play better now. And if those things come together, they're the only silver bullet for the Cowboys, because I don't know how.
And they beat them
Prescott,
already. And they beat them already.
Yeah, usually you knew Tony Romo had a little bit of a complex when they play the Giants. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what Prescott is yet. I mean, he lost the first game, but he's gotten so much better since then.
Yeah,
and as the Cowboys, who are just so confident right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know yet. I don't feel confident if I'm a Giant fan thinking, okay, well, we always have the kryptonite for the Cowboys, because usually whenever these two teams play a real meaningful game that sets up who's going to win the division, the Giants always beat them. The game on December 11th is going to be a huge game for these two teams to determine, who's going to win the division. If the Giants are able to pull that one out, they'll only be a game behind, assuming that they can continue to win. Win at Pittsburgh on Sunday, which is going to be tough, but I still think they can do it. And then they got the Lions, and then road games against the Eagles and Redskins. So it's not like the Giants have a cakewalk,
right?
But they definitely want to get revenge against Washington after the way they lost to them earlier in the year. They've already beaten Philadelphia, and you've seen how Philly's kind of fallen apart a little bit,
right.
As the season has gone on. So the Giants have it all out there for them. And if their offensive line is able to protect Eli, and they get a little bit of a running game going, which they really haven't this year. I mean, no matter who they've had run the ball. I mean, their leading rusher, who is it? Jennings. He only has 300 yards, 400 yards. So they probably need to run the ball a little bit better at some point to take pressure off Eli. But it really doesn't matter with Eli, because he can win a game single-handedly. And how about Landon Collins? I mean,
Landon Collins?
You need lights-out defensive players to put the game away, and Collins has repeatedly done that this season. I'm a grad, just to show you.
Yep.
How great University of Alabama is at putting elite players in the NFL. A lot of colleges put good players in the NFL, but you look at what Nick Saban's done since he's been there. Just elite player after elite player coming out. Collins is one of the best defensive players to come out in the last couple of years. He makes a huge difference for the Giants back there.
Go to the NFC North, where right now it's all about the Lions. They haven't won a division title since 1993, when it was the NFC Central. It's the second longest active drought in the NFL, behind the Browns, who last won their division in 1989, and we all know how that turned out. Second time since 94 that the Lions have had an outright division lead through week 12 or later. Second time since 2013 in NFL history, with 7 wins in which they trailed during the fourth quarter in a single season. 14-2 won the AFC South and reached the Super Bowl that season. What's the common denominator? Mr. Jim Caldwell, the coach. And here's a couple of other notes. Lions are the 8th team since 2008 to trail in the fourth quarter of each of its first 11 games this year. They trailed 13-10 to the Vikings on Thanksgiving Day. These Lions are 7-4 in those games. Teams are a combined 4-73 in those kind of games. Matthew Stafford led the 27th game-winning drive in the fourth quarter or overtime of his career on Thursday, one behind Matty Ice, Matt Ryan, for the most in the NFL over that time. And that list reads as follows. Matt Ryan is 28. Matthew Stafford is 27. I don't know who this guy is. Drew Brees, he has 24. And Joe Flacco has 23.
Yeah, and Eli's right behind them with 22. So just to show you how many, Flacco's another guy who has been quietly very impressive.
That's
in his career. Isn't that you can't put him in that class, even though he's won a Super Bowl. But and we're talking about the Lions. We know how poor the Lions' history have been. Okay, since the merger, they've only won 3 division titles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If we're going to take in, teams since the merger, there are 26 teams that came into the AFL NFL merger.
Right.
Okay. Only one team has won fewer than the Lions 3 division titles, and we all know who that is. Coached by is coached by a guy who might get fired at the end of the year, who came in with Mike McCagnon and Todd Bowles. But
yep.
The every other team, of the other 24 teams, every one of those 5 division titles. Okay. Now, if we're going to start overall from all the franchises that have been in the NFL, that are currently in the NFL right now, the only team that have won fewer division titles than the Lions 3 are the Jets and the Jaguars, who have won 2, and the Houston Texans, who have won 3.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you got to consider that the Jaguars came in 95, 2002.
Right.
So, that just goes to show you. And the Lions have not won a division title since 1993. That's the longest span of someone not to win a division title. So, right there, it goes to show you how rare this is for the Lions. Now, a couple years ago, they had the same spot, and they wound up losing to the Packers on the last day of the season. But they've put themselves in great position here to win the NFC North. And the fact is that they're never out of it.
No.
They've when it's like, remember the Cardiac Kids of Brian Sipe and the Cleveland Browns in 1980.
1980.
Coming back always at the end of games. Now they had a rough ending to their season with Red Right. Yeah. So that cost them, but the Lions have something where they're not afraid. When they're in the last couple minutes and they're behind, they've come up with an incredible confidence that they're going to pull out the game.
Mm-hmm.
And Stafford is really growing, and he's really impressed me, because not only does he lead the team back now, but you see he's involved. I remember one play in that game where the Vikings were offsides, and you know how sometimes when the guys are offsides, you get a free play.
Yep.
Okay. And he knew, he's like, man, and he started yelling at the referee, throwing the ball down. You can't stop the play. You need to continue. You just cost us a free play,
And right.
I remember the very first game against the Lions this year, against the Colts this year, leading them back, yelling at guys, pointing out where to go. This guy is involved.
Mm-hmm.
And to see his growth is amazing. You look at, they got a huge game this Sunday at New Orleans, because the Saints are a team that can jump up and bite you like they did with the Seahawks. And, they've had a couple of games where they've blown, especially the game against the Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
That they've had in the bag. Then home game against the Bears, road games against the Giants and Cowboys, 2 very, very, very. And then they finished the season at home against the Packers. At one point, you would have thought that would have been to decide the division, unless the Lions fall back, Vikings, continue to play inconsistent. I just don't see that happening, because also the Packers would have to run the table. The Lions have set themselves up nicely. And the great thing about this is, if the Lions are legitimate, then they'll do well in these last 5 games.
Exactly.
You'll find out all you need to know.
Does anybody want to win the NFC South or the NFC West?
Well, I know that the Cardinals don't.
No, they don't.
They've been the most disappointing team, right? Wouldn't you say? Even considering the Bengals, the Cardinals, there are a lot of people that picked the Cardinals to come out of the NFC. And you look at a guy like Carson Palmer, who I can't figure out. He's a good quarterback, but I'm trying to think of guys who compare to him. Okay. I think of a guy like Stabler, who won 1 Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
but Stabler was more, Stabler had a lot of grit And, the Raiders had a lot of other things going against them. Some conspiracies. People say that, the referee is never like, who knows how that worked out. So even Stabler is not a fair comparison, because Stabler, I think overall was a better player.
Right.
Who would you compare him to? Certainly not Marino. I mean, Marino is in a class by himself.
You know what? Marino is indeed in a class by himself. I can't find anybody to compare Carson Palmer to at all.
Yeah.
I can't.
Right.
And as far as the Seattle Seahawks go, and tuned into the show yesterday knows my thoughts on Russell Wilson.
Well, so why? What is exactly your? Because I didn't get a chance to listen. What exactly is your problem with Russell Wilson?
If Russell Wilson is supposed to be this dangerous quarterback, he should have led the Seahawks to a win over Arizona, found a way to win that game instead of it winding up in a tie. And he could have guided the Seahawks to more than 3 points offensively against the Buccaneers.
Yeah, but they've been inconsistent at times. I mean, and then they had that stretch where he played real well, and they were able to win.
Stretch. You've gotten to know me. Consistency is my thing.
Yeah, I know, but it's hard to say that a guy's not consistent when he's won one Super Bowl and really should have won two. But and the Seahawks have been the class of the NFC for the last 4 years.
That you know what? Yeah, they've won a Super Bowl. They should have won two, and that's when Russell Wilson should have turned and given the ball to the best running back in the league. Period.
You're right. But that wasn't necessarily his call. I don't think, at least from what I remember.
But at the same time, the Super Bowl rides on the line. Okay,
that was absolutely inexcusable. Don't even get me started with that.
Don't you think he would have gotten in the huddle? Don't you think he would have gotten in the huddle and say, "Look, I know what was called, but we got Marshawn Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch is going to crash the ball over." You don't take H.
Right. As far as going down in history of the world, and I forget about football. The history of the world is dumbest things you could ever do.
Would Joe Montana ever make a decision like that? Okay.
Well, Joe Montana also had, the genius himself calling those plays. As much as Pete Carroll is a great coach, compare the two. Okay?
No, you cannot, and I will not ever compare Pete Carroll to the late great Bill Walsh. Ever. Right.
Ever. That's blasphemy in itself.
But that's why I went off the way that I did yesterday on Russell Wilson. I'm a big proponent of consistency. And yes, Russell Wilson threw for 4,000 yards last year. But what the hell did he have to fall back on offensively? He had to carry that team and has had to carry that team offensively, especially this year, without Marshawn Lynch. Consistency is a big thing with me. And Russell Wilson ain't that. Period.
Well, I don't. It's not fair to say he's not consistent. I mean, you look at a guy who, look at his completion percentage since he's been in the NFL: 64%, 63%, 63%, 68%, 64%. That's pretty consistent. 26 touchdowns, 20 touchdowns, 34 touchdowns. This year, a little bit less with only 11 touchdowns. But overall, the Seahawks have struggled offensively because they're still trying to find their identity a little bit. Okay. And going into this game, the previous 3 games, he threw for 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, threw for an average of over 300 yards per game.
All right.
In games that they scored over 26 points. So, now this, I'll agree. This was a real confusing game, just like when they lost to the Saints.
And Russell
that was
Wilson,
really confusing.
And Russell Wilson got pummeled.
Yeah, but a lot of that too is his offensive line, which is still trying to find themselves a little bit. They don't have the luxury of being able to run the ball like they did before.
This is true.
Because they're still, nobody's healthy of all their running backs. They don't know who. I mean, for crying out loud, they had a backup quarterback running the ball last week.
Yeah.
At one point. Okay. So that's a big part of it too. Leading rusher was Thomas Rawls, who I love, a guy who's tough and fast, but experienced yet. And Russell Wilson was a leading rusher with 80 yards, and he really can't be. He's good in instances where they can run out of the shotgun offense or out of the whatever that new offense is, and I'm having a brain fart here.
A pistol.
Yeah, the pistol. Yeah, where he's probably one of the best at doing that. Okay, but you give him just a little bit. To say that he's not consistent is a little harsh, Brian. I mean, I just read off his numbers. You don't play for 5 years, win 2 Super Bowls, go to the NFC Championship just about every game, every year, and not consistent. Now this was a hard game to explain, but they still have.
I'll give you that.
Come on, you're getting a little tough here. I mean, come on. I mean, you still got
I'm
5 games left.
I'm being me. Consistency is my thing.
Okay,
I'll give you this.
Quarterback that has a
this.
QB rating over 100 for his career. This isn't.
I'll answer that
we're talking
question.
about a guy that has 70 more or almost 80 more touchdowns than he has interceptions. Okay, that's pretty good.
Then explain Sunday. Then explain the tie in Arizona.
Even Tom Brady played poorly at one point. And he's not God.
But
I know he's a born-again Christian, but he's not God.
Yeah, but that's Tom Brady though. That's a different.
Well, Tom Brady might be God, but Russell Wilson.
As much as we don't like talking about him, that's Tom Brady. I'm having fun with this one. I'm having fun with this one.
Brian, I love you. I love you. You bring a lot to the table, but I think you need to lay down with a wet rag over your head, for this one. Okay, Russell Wilson is consistent. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. I think if you had to start a franchise, he would be a guy that you would seriously consider as your quarterback.
I'll start a franchise with Montana, and I'm having fun while I'm saying.
I'm not talking about all time. I'm talking about guys right now. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
And if you
all right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Oh man, Snowman of the Morning. Mark Kelly on the line with me. We're having fun. This portion brought to you by South Lake Body Auto Shop, a full-service mechanic repair shop in which we do body repair and paint on all makes and models of cars and trucks. Call them at 219-947-9900 or visit SouthLakeBodyAutoSales.com. I got an NBA discussion coming here pretty soon. I'm having fun with my buddy Mark Kelly. So much fun whenever you come on each week, my friend. I really appreciate it, and I love you, and I love doing this.
I love you too, Brian. And we got 5 more weeks left, and then the playoffs. And it's just going to get more and more strange. We're going to have more and more conversations like this. And, you keep bringing the information like you have. We're going to be, we'll be all right. And it's always a pleasure to, and I got to give a shout out too, because all this stuff that we've read and that I was able to send to you, when I was a researcher at ESPN, there are guys that work so hard to come up with information like this, and the creativity and the ability to think these numbers and stats and to put these things together is something that I've been blessed with. That God gave me the ability to do. I don't have many talents, but that is one of them. And you got to give thanks to those guys at ESPN and ESPN Stats and Info and ESPN Research guys,
right?
And the Elias Sports Bureau guys that are some of the smartest people that I've ever worked with. Some of the greatest sports minds that you'll ever come across. They deserve so much credit for the things they do, the numbers they put out, guys who work tirelessly and never get any credit. The credit always goes to the anchors. The credit always goes to the people saying the numbers.
And it goes, and it should go to the people that actually look up the numbers. But
it never will.
Right.
I like I said, I have two sports, 2 Emmy Awards for the work I've done. Guys in that department deserve many more. And the great thing about some of the anchors, and this is what I loved about Stuart Scott, and I'll end in this because Stuart Scott was such a dear man.
Yes.
No one used the stat better than Stuart Scott.
Agreed.
You gave him a list of things to say, and he would fit it in highlights. You would fit it in score panels. You go back and you look at the highlights that Stuart Scott read. I remember. Came back, with the Wizards. I was, responsible for working with Stuart that night and getting him his information. Put so much, we were able to work together. He had so many things that I gave him to use, and he used every single one of them. He looked brilliant. We helped him make him look brilliant, but you also need to know what the information. Just like this morning, I gave you a lot of stuff. You were able to rattle it off. Good. And this comes from a point where creativity and the ability to use your mind to come up with this stuff. I think all the people who have done that not just, today or last week or last year, but overall,
Right.
who make understanding and debating sports so fun. I think those people need, the Elias Sports Bureau, the people at ESPN, they deserve a lot of credit.
Agreed. And much credit coming from me too. And much credit to this brother, Mark Kelly. As always, as we break down week 12, and next week is week 13.
Yeah. And one last thing, Brian, before I go.
Yes.
People, go to my website, click on Knockout Cancer. Okay. There's a GoFundMe account set up for me because I deal with some serious issues. I'm a childhood cancer survivor, so I have Crohn's disease and lymphedema and hemochromatosis that don't allow me to work. I had to retire from ESPN back in 2008, a job I loved and was great at. With these issues, dealing with 2 life-threatening diseases every day really takes a lot out of me. And just to keep myself healthy and to keep the diseases from really overtaking, I do a lot of homeopathic stuff that I need help with. I was able to set up a GoFundMe account to help some of those expenses. If you go to my website, ckmagicsports.com, and click on Knockout Cancer, you'll be able to see all the things I do. And it's not just me right now suffering. Only 5% of cancer funds go towards childhood cancer. And so many of the kids like me who have maybe defeated cancer and overcome it as a child wind up having chemo radiation later on in life. And that's definitely me, because you think you've beaten a disease and then all of a sudden you're faced with the side effects anymore and you can't live a normal life.
Right.
And, lucky for me, my wife has been able to help with taking care, and being, having a job to where I don't have to be on my own, yet. But, if that situation ever did come about, what would we do? And what, people like me who don't have that.
Right.
So, I think so many of those people need to, and I don't know, for myself, I hate seeing people in that situation that have overcome cancer and now are fighting a disease and things that are outside of their control, their life. I consider that I've given my life to this disease and to help. If you go to my website again, CK Magic Sports, click on Knockout Cancer, you'll be able to make a donation. The thing is, you want to make sure when you donate, and this is what I don't really trust about a lot of these major corporations or major, like the American Cancer Society, who I really don't trust.
Right.
You have foundations like the V Foundation and Make-A-Wish, who are great foundations. You know that when you donate to them, it's going towards great causes. I prefer individual giving because you're directly giving to a family or people that, and with me, you have, where every cent is going to help with the homeopathic and healing the damage that's been done to me. So I just wanted, I don't speak about it much because it's, it's embarrassing and it's really hard for me, but it's a big issue that I face every day. And people like me really need help.
Well, we got you here at Arena Sportsnet and at Snowman in the Morning. We got you, my friend. I'll make a link to your website from both of mine, from snowmaninthemorning.com and also arenasportsnet.com. We'll hook up the word out for you. We'll get you some help, my friend.
God bless, brother. Stay cool, and we will talk next week again.
I appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Amen. Bye-bye.
How much fun was that? How much fun was that? Oh, I got to take a break. But when we come back, I'm going to talk a little NBA with the Hef, Mark Heffernan. And for those of you listening on the Facebook Live feed, I usually stop it right now. This time I'm not. I'm going to go get something to eat. I'm going to take a couple minutes, and then I'll be back. Heffernan after the break, breaking down the NBA, and look who's sitting on top of the standings. Snowman in the Morning, back in a couple. I'll be right back, man.
Welcome to another edition of Sports Infusion. I'm your host, Pamela Michelle, and this guy needs no intro, Andrew Fishbane. Well, the SEC is fat. Go Gators.
Oh, you don't tell me you're an SEC fan. You know, I would much rather be an Oregon fan than an Oregon State fan after what happened to them this weekend.
Oh, we're multitasking, so.
That's very impressive.
Sound good? Consensus
Yes.
opinion? Oh, right. Fantastic.
But I was so disappointed with the Packers this year that they couldn't find somebody, a running back named Cagney. Having Cagney and Lacey in the backfield.
Yeah, Russell, it is such a pleasure. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. And
I'll make sure I break that record next week.
Just that little slip. I made one cut, boom, and everything just started opening up, and I saw the kicker. I was like, oh, this kid, it's over. It's over.
I want my Pam, and I'm not talking cooking spray.
I understand why WWE has to have so many constraints on the guys. I mean, it's a publicly traded company.
He came in and he played, obviously, on Sunday. I don't think a guy who doesn't know the playbook or the terminology could have necessarily stepped in and played on Sunday. If I can hold the clipboard, I can make $14 million.
Absolutely, because it's just so much fun. And the bottom line is, I love myself some Peyton Manning.
You got to go out. You got to be willing to pay the price to pay your dues.
I replaced him with Terrence Williams.
That was absolutely brilliant. See, I was right. It is Schwab.
Know what I said? I looked up, I said, thank you, God, I'm not the only one.
He will be in that game, and he will be doing everything he can to posterize Dwight Howard.
I grew up in a house with older brothers who, kind of gave me a lot of teasing. It's sort of, it's good.
We've talked about this, and that's the way. That's the feeling I have. Is like I'm your big brother, so
exactly.
I got to be protected.
I'm Pamela Michelle, and that's what you can expect to hear every week on Sports Infusion.
Are you done?
Russ's Print Shop in Hebron, Indiana has been doing printing since 1979. You can take advantage of this website special of getting 500 full-color business cards on a quality business cardstock for just $49, an online special only. But you can use other means to get the name of your business out there through Russ's Print Shop and the Hebron Advertiser, located at 131 North Main Street in Hebron, Indiana. Give them a call today at 219-996-3142 or toll free at 877-996-3142. Russ's Print Shop, fine printing and design since 1979. Hey y'all, Snowman here. I want to tell you about a great place here in Hebron that supports the Hebron Hawks. It's called Susie's Diner at 407 South Main Street here in Hebron, Indiana. They got the best food around. If you're looking for a place to get a quick bite to eat or to hang around for a little while, check out Susie's Diner at 407 South Main Street in Hebron, Indiana. And my personal recommendation, the first of many to come, man, they are good. Susie's Diner, 407 South Main Street, Hebron, Indiana, or call them at 219-996-3463.
Now what's that? I say, now what's that boy up to? Better check on it, yeah.
You're listening to Snowman in the Morning.
Ask a silly question and get a silly answer.
Ooh, have mercy. Talk about having some fun. Thank you, Mark Kelly. Thank you, my brother. I love you. Comes on every week to discuss everything that is the NFL. And the second half of Snowman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Wilt Fang Builders. They've been building quality new homes and remodeling since 1947. Visit them at 110 West Wilson in Hebron, Indiana, or call them at 219-996-7131. You can also email them at wiltfangbbuilders@yahoo.com. I know that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible, but I don't care. I love it. I got the heft in, I'd say less than a minute from now. And on the Wacky Wednesday edition tomorrow of Snowman in the Morning, I'm hoping to get Robin back on. I'm hoping to get Robin back on because I know she's got some grievances to air out. A hilarious hour. I'll tell you what's fun. And I still think, me and Mark are not going to agree on Russell Wilson. Yeah, he's put up the numbers, but if y'all heard my segment yesterday on Russell Wilson, go back and listen to that. The podcast version is up You can find it on iTunes. You can find it any and everywhere. Any and everywhere that we got it, you can find Snowman in the Morning. Mark Heffernan's on the way in a couple of seconds. In fact, where is he? There he is. Let's talk some NBA. And I welcome Mark Heffernan to the house. What's up, Hef?
Hey, what's going on, man?
You're up a little early
What's going down, Brian?
You're up a little early this morning, dude.
Considering I probably went to bed about 4 hours ago. I had a game last night and worked on a bunch of stuff last night, and so I was in the Bay Area for about a week, so wasn't getting up this early there. Did a lot of work outside, kind of worked around the rain. Had quite a bit of rain in the San Francisco Oakland area. In fact, did a North Coast section football game Saturday out from Oakland and Rancho Cotati, and went down to the wire. Bishop O'Dowd, the kicker, nailed a 42-yard field goal with 3 seconds left, and Bishop O'Dowd won 37-34. On and off the entire game, but fortunately they have artificial turf, so the field didn't get muddy. Really, nobody slipped, and I don't think that the conditions played a factor in the game, because both quarterbacks threw the ball very well, despite the fact it was kind of windy and rainy throughout, from, like, say, 5 p.m. until 9:30, 9:45 at the conclusion of the game. And in fact, what's interesting about this is my friend, one of my best friends, was a pastor in South Dakota down years ago. He's probably about a 1982 graduate, and a nice school. It's a school in the hills of Oakland, a parochial school. They have a proud athletic tradition. They've had a great basketball team in the past, and now they have a very good football program. So it was fun to do a game outside of my section, the North Coast section, which kind of becomes.
Wait a minute. Yeah, you all hear the interference. What I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna tell him to call back because y'all heard a lot of interference. I apologize for that. Hef, I apologize to you. I'm gonna see if I can get him back on the line here in a couple moments. Yeah, while we're thinking of talking NBA, here we go. I think I got him back. Mark, you with me? Ouch!
Sure, I'm here.
There we go. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk some NBA. Did you think the way the Warriors were embarrassed by both the Lakers and the Spurs that they would be sitting where they are? Even given all the turnover with the team?
Well, I think they've improved. Kevin Durant has really done a great job fitting into the team. They're making him feel welcome. Golden State's playing great defense, led by Draymond Green. I saw them twice against the Lakers last week, Wednesday and Friday. Of course, the Lakers were not at full strength, so Wednesday was a tremendous blowout in favor of GS. LA played better on Friday, but they don't have the talent to compete really with Golden State unless they're all healthy. On 105-100 last night, got a couple of blocks in the last 40 seconds. And Durant has been very consistent for the Warriors.
Yeah.
He had 25 points and 14 rebounds. And, Curry and Thompson are playing well, but I think Kevin Durant has been the key for their club. They're not that deep like last year, but they've been very consistent on both ends of the court. So, surprised but not too much. Not surprising too much what happens with the Warriors.
With a 12-game winning streak, and I didn't know anything about this stat until it was thrown at me yesterday at the tail end of the Warriors broadcast. But they have 4 winning streaks.
16-2, and I don't know if they still have that assist record. I know that
when
they had won 10 straight, they'd had over 30 assists every game. in that streak. In one game against the Lakers, they had over 40 assists. Well, playing defense. That's another story. Backdoor.
All the time.
Where's Curry? Where's Thompson?
And in some cases, where's Green? You know? But like I said, I didn't realize this stat until someone threw it at me, or it was repeated after the Warriors broadcast last night. The Warriors have 4 winning streaks of 12 or more in their history, and all 4.
That's excellent.
All 4 have occurred under Steve Kerr.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they move the basketball very well, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a lot of guys that can score.
Any other surprises?
And when they get on a roll, and they're hard to stop.
Yeah.
But they haven't played a lot of top-notch teams yet this year. Haven't played the Clippers yet. They played the Lakers 3 times. Of course, they lost once. They played San Antonio early. Haven't played the Cavs. But as you know, there's not a lot of top-notch teams in the NBA this season.
Mm-hmm.
Some teams are coming on, but very few teams have great records. Cleveland is one of them. Cleveland is playing great basketball because Love is really kind of sprouted. And then you have Golden State and a number of teams are between 500 and maybe 4 games over 500.
Right.
So then there's a disparity. Quite a few teams are almost out of it already. A number of teams are more than 5 games under 500. They may never catch 500 for the entire season. So it will be long for them. But we'll see. I mean, obviously they have a very good team. We don't know how great,
right,
or if we get to the NBA Finals. It's a marathon, and as you know, they have to have their top guys have to be healthy throughout.
Yeah,
and that includes KP and Curry. So they'll win a lot of games, and we'll have a great percentage. I think they're 8-9 right now. But as you know, in the NBA, you have to have your main guys healthy for big periods during the course of the year.
Are you surprised?
But obviously, they're a well-coached team and they have a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm. Are you surprised at the start of the San Antonio Spurs?
A little bit, but you know, they always have a way of being competitive every year. You know, Kawhi Leonard and they're like great forward, and it seems like they're getting good guard play. But yeah, I am surprised so well. But you know, San Antonio always kind of hangs around, so you got to be aware of them.
This is true.
Popovich is a great coach. He's got a good staff, and they seem to find players many times from other countries that just fit into their system. And, you know, you talk about team basketball and team defense, they got it down. Win there. You put on that uniform, and you become a team player. Just like you, man. Just like the snowman. You become a team player. Let's go. Let's do it right now.
Surprises in the Western Conference?
No, the Sacramento Kings are playing about like I thought. They lost 101-95. I mean, Derek Cousins is a beast at center. 36 points, 20 rebounds. You know, he plays like you. But
I wish.
It's typical they lose. Man, I'd love for the Lakers to have him.
You and quite a few other people.
103 with 18 rebounds, 14 assists, another triple-double. In fact, he's averaging a triple-double, Russell Westbrook. So those two guys are, to me, two of the best players in the NBA, Cousins and Westbrook. Curry. You know, we even talk about sometimes the top 10 players in the league. And those guys make a difference in their team. The Thunder are 11-8, the Knicks 8-9, 7-11. The Wizards with John Wall getting 11 assists are very bad start because he was hurt. Celtics, watch out for them, 112-104 over the Heat. Mr. Isaiah Thomas with 25 points, 8 assists. Dragic had 27 points, 17 assists for Miami. So the Celtics are 10-7, so they're a playoff team, I think, in the Eastern Conference. Then, you know, you have the Jazz beating the T-Wolves 112-103, and the Jazz are 10-8. Levine had 28 points for the T-Wolves, so the Jazz are another team I think that is a playoff contender in the Western Conference.
Let's go to the East real quick.
Oh, wait a minute. I want to mention one thing. That
okay.
Derrick Rose seems to be playing very well for the Knicks last night in a losing effort. I think he had over 30 in another game. So it seems like holding up fairly well early in the season.
I'm not
He
buying
was
it.
not playing for a real good team. The Knicks are 8-9, but it seems like he's Mr. D Rose.
I'm not drinking the Derrick Rose Kool-Aid as of yet, but I am drinking this Kool-Aid. I'll tell you a team in the East that's going to surprise everybody, and that team is the Chicago Bulls.
The Bulls.
The reason
So why are the Bulls going to surprise everybody?
Well, I think they're going to be a
Why?
surprise. I think the Bulls are going to be a surprise because of all the offseason drama, getting rid of Derek, Joakim Noah, and it seems like now they're playing like more of a cohesive unit. Even 2 years ago.
I love it. And they're throwing those awesome words at me. Cohesive unit.
Well,
Sound
that's
like a coach, man.
well, that's what the Bulls have become. If you're going to play in the NBA and you're going to be one of the elite teams, you have to be a cohesive unit. Just ask Steve Kerr. Just ask Greg Popovich. Let's go back in the day. Just ask Pat Riley. Yeah. Let's go even further back in the day. How about Billy? Let's ask Billy Cunningham, Phil Jackson. You got to be a cohesive unit.
Billy Cunningham, left-hander. Yeah, I love it.
A lot of people don't think I know about the legend of Billy Cunningham.
He can play ball, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So how much does D Wade have in the tank?
I believe I made a wild prediction at the top of the year, but I'm sticking with it. Cleveland goes down at the hands of the Bulls in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I said it. People.
Will that be
people think
second round or
no East Finals?
Woo.
I'm going all the way there. If the Bulls and the Cavaliers meet in the playoff series, Cleveland goes down. Period. I don't care what people think or say because of the way the Bulls have come out so far. Yeah, they don't have the record Cleveland does, but for some reason, I got mucho confidence in this Bulls team, and I think they'll take him down.
Hey, man, who guards LeBron?
Jimmy Butler. There's your answer. There's
He's
that.
a good player.
Jimmy Butler can lock up LeBron, and he will lock up LeBron, and he has. And there's
who takes on Kyrie?
Rajon Rondo.
And how about Kevin Love?
A little bit of everybody.
Yeah.
You send a posse after a player like Kevin Love, but I don't even believe in Kevin Love. Kevin Love has been inconsistent since he's been with Cleveland.
I know.
I do not buy Kevin Love. 34 points in the quarter, and they're going to give him all this props for that? Hey, y'all, Klay Thompson had 37 in a quarter. How about that?
That's right.
My buddy Larry Bird.
Klay Thompson's a streaky shooter who had 37 in one quarter in one game and have like 8 points in the following game. I mean, he gets on a roll, but then he's like a lot of guys as 3-point shooters. He's streaky.
But when that streak is good,
so
it's good.
Golden State hasn't. Yeah. Well, because Curry and Green defeating the ball and very lot of shots in zone. He's doing a better job of it now.
Right.
But primarily, he's a spot shooter, top of the key or right corner, something like that. But yeah. Have a game like that for a long time and don't expect him to score 30 points in the quarter very often.
No. A surprise team in the East, aside of the Bulls, a surprise team in the East is Atlanta. And they lost last night. But Atlanta, coming into last night, the best defensive team in the NBA right now. Do you see a lot more coming from Atlanta, coming from the Hawks?
10-8 right now, but they lost to the Lakers and Golden State. I think they'll be a playoff team. And they kind of fizzled a little bit since then. Last night's game was tough against Golden State. But, Golden State is playing very good defense.
Mm-hmm.
They're the fourth best defensive team in the NBA.
Yep.
And I think they lead the league in blocks. Two blocks last night, as I mentioned, Green had 2 in the last minute, about a block and a half per game, and Durant is over a block per game. So even though they're not known as a defensive team, GS, they're playing better rotational defense this year, at least at this juncture. That's because they're winning.
That's
If
exactly.
they start losing, there goes the defense.
I don't think so. The defense is going to be a big.
Kidding.
I know. Defense is a big piece of their identity, especially with Draymond Green playing the way that he is right now. Any other surprises in the East?
Charlotte's playing fairly well, aren't they? The Charlotte?
Yeah.
Charlotte team, Michael Jordan's team. I know they got to a great start for the past 10 days or so. But there will be a competition for playoff spots in both conferences.
Yeah.
You look at Golden State and San Antonio, and the Clippers have the top teams in the West, and Cleveland, and Charlotte in the East. And I want the Clippers and Golden State to play pretty soon. Problem beating the Warriors over the past couple of years,
and they're going to continue having a problem beating the Warriors.
Why?
They're going to continue having a problem beating the Warriors, and it's more psychological than physical, because the Clips haven't found a way to solve the Warriors in the past 2 years.
And the thing about the Clips, will keep everybody healthy. Griffin, Jordan, and Chris Paul. And they got a couple of good players off the bench, and they're an outstanding team. In the postseason or in the clutch, especially against GS, and that's a team they really struggle with. And of course, probably meet, and they will have to beat. So why do you think they have so much trouble against Golden State? Even the Lakers have knocked off Golden State twice in the last 2 years.
Won't. I'll take you back to a game last year in Staples. The Clippers had a 22-point lead in that game. Somehow came all the way back to win it. That will mess with you psychologically. And I'll give you a prime example of when a team finds a way to beat you, that it sits in your head for a while until you beat them. Remember the rivalry between the Bulls and the Pistons from the late 80s to the early 90s?
Yes.
There you go. It just seemed like the Bulls would never solve the Pistons, and the Pistons kept finding ways to beat them. The famous Jordan rules and everything, and then the Bulls finally got it right.
Really turns it around.
They sure did. I'm gonna drop a trivia question for you before we get out of here, and it goes like this. Considering your favorite team is the Lakers, there's a Laker that clinched a 7th game in the finals with a triple-double. He became the first player to do it. Who is this?
Let's go with this.
If I gave you the year...
Was it the Magic Man? The Magic Man?
No, but you're getting warm.
Team?
Yep.
Is Magic?
Yep.
Was it a guard or a forward?
Forward.
Was it James Worthy?
It was indeed Big Game James.
James Worthy.
35 points, 16.
Quick first step. Low post, man.
The quickest I've ever seen. 35 points, 16 rebounds, dished out 10 assists. That was Game 7 in 1988, and the Lakers won that game 108-105. It's Mark Heffernan breaking down the NBA with me. This portion brought to you by Subway of Hebron, and also brought to you in part by Chicagoland Popcorn, with over 250 flavors for you to choose from. If you're here in the area, you can visit them at 5470 East Lincoln Highway, or you can pay a visit to them online at chicagolandpopcorn.com. They do deliver. That's the Hef, Mark Heffernan, breaking down the NBA with me. He'll be on with me every week to discuss the highs, the have-nots, everything that's going on with the NBA. Thanks for the time, my friend. Appreciate it.
Care.
That's Mark Heffernan, and I has a message after the break. This, my friends, is Snowman in the Morning, and I'm back in a flash, man.
Attention fans of Fireside Sports Radio. We are now the Asylum Fantasy Sports Show. Join Flieger and Briggs each week as we bring you the best in fantasy, sports talk, and anything else that comes to our mind. Join us every Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, exclusively here on the Arena Sports Network.
Get 500 full-color business cards on a quality business stock for just $49 at Russ's Print Shop. Look at them online at russprintshop.com or call 219-996-3142. Russ's Print Shop, fine printing and design since 1979. South Lake Body Auto Sales is a used car dealership located at 3970 East Lincoln Highway in Maryville, 1 block east of Sam's Club, where your job is your credit and everybody drives. We're open from 9 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Get great deals on cars such as a 2004 Mitsubishi Outlander, a 2005 BMW X3, a 2010 Ford Fusion, a 2008 Chevy Malibu, a Buick LaCrosse, and much, much more. Visit 3970 East Lincoln Highway in Maryville or call 219-947-9901. Or you can jump online and visit southlakebodyautosales.com. South Lake Body Auto Sales, where your job is your credit and everybody drives. Today's program is brought to you by Cleaver Supplements, the official presenting sponsor of Arena Sports Net. Our team is excited to provide you with an impeccable online shopping experience and remains available to assist at any time. We have natural supplements such as our Super Fat Burner, our Carnitine Stack, the famous Swole Serum for your workouts, and much more. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, do not hesitate to contact us via telephone or email, and one of our experienced team members will get back to you. Pure supplements for when genetics are just not enough. Countryside Realty and their team of realtors are ready to handle your real estate transaction with honesty, professionalism, and over 17 years of industry knowledge. Don't go unrepresented in one of the largest investments of your life. Call their DeMont, Indiana office at 219-987-SELL. That's 219-987-7355. You can also find them online at 987sell.com or find them on Facebook. Serving all of Northwest Indiana, Countryside Realty, where professionalism matters. Wilt Fang Builders of Hebron have been building quality new homes and remodeling since 1947. Visit them at 110 West Wilson in Hebron, Indiana, or call them at 219-996-7131. You can also email them at wiltfangbuilders@yahoo.com. Wilt Fang Builders, quality new homes and remodeling since 1947.
Now what's that? I say, now what's that boy up to? Better check on it, yeah.
You're listening to Snowman in the Morning.
Ask a silly question, get a silly answer.
44 after the second hour, getting ready to bring this bad boy to a close. And I want to thank everybody for tuning us in via our Facebook Live, via snowmaninthemorning.com, and also arenasportsnet.com. Brought to you ouch! Sorry. Me and the microphone always have fights. Victor Locke can attest to that. We're brought to you this morning by Chicagoland Popcorn, by Subway of Hebron, by Hardy Homes of Valparaiso, by South Lake Body Auto Shop and Repair, by Wilt Fang Builders. Also, our chief sponsors, Cleaver Supplements, pure supplements for when genetics are just not enough, by Countryside Realty, where professionalism matters, and by ButcherBox and butcherbox.com. Get 100% grass-fed beef, organic chicken, and heritage-bred pork delivered on your schedule for less than $6.50 per meal. Visit arenasportsnet.com. Check out all of our sponsors. And if you like today's show, and we hope that you do, why don't you go to snowmaninthemorning.com/SITM Honor Roll. Become a member of the Honor Roll for only $5 a month. Now, time for us to get out of here. But before we do, I got a message last night. my good buddy, Joshua Lopez. And everything is clear after this. And I hope you all can hear it. I'm going to try to play it. It was an interview with Bernie Mac that Oprah Winfrey conducted. And Bernie Mac said this.
I never watch what somebody else does. It does not matter. Bernie Mac got to do his thing.
So what did you think? What was your ultimate goal? What did you want to do?
To be the best.
To be the best. Uh-huh.
I'm not in competition with anybody.
So you didn't care what form that took?
No, I don't care what people say. I think if you focus on being the best within yourself, all that stuff will come. Right. I hear people say, get your money on, get your money on. I hate that. And that's your motivation. If you do well, the money will come.
That's what I know.
You know what I mean? And quit focusing on the money.
Right.
Because it's not about the money. My love for comedy is just unbelievable. I'm a comedian. I'm not a black comic. I didn't want a black show. I want a show. I make everybody laugh. I never.
Bingo. That is motivation enough and should be motivation enough. Everybody, and I can really identify with what Bernie Mac said in that little piece. Telling me from the people who loved me to the people who hated me, get your money straight first. Why don't I get myself straight and identify with what I love to do? I can honestly, we need money to live and get by and get around and all that good stuff. But at the same time, love what you do. And I absolutely adore what I do. I've said all the time I had to be more consistent with this show. And today, I really can say that I am back in doing this. This foundation is going to continue to build. And with folks like y'all supporting us, it's going to build in no time. I always said that I would build the foundation and go from there. Now I'm going all the way in with it. I'm not worried about money. I'm not worried about status. I'm not worried about what the hell people think. To hell with what people think. They're going to love. There are people that are going to love me or hate me anyway. I don't care. Hell, I lived with half of them. You find out people's real motivation when you stick to your guns and follow your heart. Period. Let me say that again. You find out people's real motivation and their real connection to you when you stick to your guns and follow your heart. Because either they're going to stand with you or they're going to stand against you. And I can't tell you, I've had more people stand against me in the past 4 years than ever. But I don't care. I don't bleeping care. I love what I do. I know I'm in what people would term a dire situation right now, but I don't care. It ain't going to last. I'm pulling through it, and the people that stuck with me are pulling through it also. Let me say this again to the people that want to see me go down. No, let me put it in the form of a question. Does it piss you off more that you can't stop me, or does it piss you off more that you can't break me? Not to say I've never been broken. Oh, I have been. Not to say I've never fell down. Done that too. But I got right back up, damn it. And I'm going to continue to get right back up. Fall down 7 times, stand up 8 or 9 or 10 or however many times you need to stand back up. If you fall down, get back up. And remember what Bernie Mac said. You do what you love, the money will come. You got to do it the way only you can see it. And Michael Prince told me this, and it's so true. It is so true. You know how to deliver your product. Now go deliver it. I will continue to do so. Have a great day. God bless. Have a great Tuesday. Thank you all for tuning in. You can find Snowman in the Morning on arenasportsnet.com as well as snowmaninthemorning.com. As I said, we got some big things coming down the pike in the month of December. You'll find out more tomorrow. Thanks to everybody who checked us out on our Facebook Live feed. And anyone who knows me knows one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin. I want y'all to have a great day. I want y'all to be blessed. And remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. And that's the bottom line because Snowman said so. Snowman out.